When you hit 70 and your living solo life has its own rhythm, sometimes it's calm, sometimes it's lonely, and sometimes it's downright hilarious. I'm not here to toss out cliches like drink more water or walk a mile a day. You've heard that a million times. I'm here to talk about the real stuff, the things that make independent life after 70 safer, smarter, and a whole lot more enjoyable. You see, living alone isn't just about keeping the lights on or remembering to lock the door at night. It's about building a system around you that works even when your memory, your knees, or the weather doesn't. So grab a cup of coffee, hopefully not the one you reheated 3 times already, and let's walk through 10 essentials for making solo living not only doable, but downright dignified. Trust me, these are the things that keep your independence alive without stripping away your joy. Let's start with something simple but powerful, having someone expect to hear from you each day. I call it a lifeline routine. Doesn't have to be dramatic, doesn't have to be long, just a tiny signal that says, still here, still kicking. My buddy, Frank 74, lives out in Arizona. Not great with gadgets, but he and his grandson set up a code every morning at 8 a.m. Frank texts a single emoji. Sometimes it's a cactus. Sometimes it's a cowboy hat. Once it was a taco. If he doesn't send it, his grandson calls. If there's still no reply by 10, the neighbor checks in. Last winter, Frank tripped taking out the trash at dawn. He couldn't get up. That taco emoji, well, the lack of it brought help in time. You don't need to install high-tech cameras or sign up for complicated monitoring. Just create a habit that keeps you visible to the people who care. And hey, if texting isn't your thing, flip on your porch light, leave a sticky note, or even ask Alexa to broadcast a morning good day message. Here's the truth: when you live alone, you're the only one double-checking yourself. And our brains after 70. They like to play tricks. One moment you walk into the kitchen looking for milk, next thing you're standing there with a pickle jar wondering what year it is. That's why you need what I call a brain binder. My neighbor Dorothy, 79, keeps a notebook with sections, bills, due meds, taken passwords, doctor notes, even a list of things she tends to forget. One tab literally says, "Stuff I always lose." It sounds funny, but it works. When you're alone, small slip-ups, like paying the electric bill twice or skipping your heart meds, can spiral. A written record isn't about being forgetful, it's about being smart. Pen and paper, voice notes, a giant whiteboard in the kitchen, whatever works. The point is consistency. You're building a backup system for the sneaky tricks your brain likes to play. Too many older folks treat money like it's only for bills, emergencies, or leaving behind for family. I say nonsense. You've earned the right to spend a slice on yourself. Call it a joy fund, a play jar, or my personal favorite, a still alive account. My Aunt June, 81, dips into hers every few months. Once it was front row seats at a country concert. Another time, it was a bright red leather jacket. She said, "It's not about the thing. It's about the reminder that I'm still here, still living." Life alone can fall into endless routines. Pay fix, repeat. Your fun fund breaks that cycle. Doesn't have to be thousands. Could be $20 for the fancy ice cream or a weekend at a cozy cabin. If your kids complain about their inheritance, shrinking, just smile and say, "Well, being alive costs money." Okay, let's talk about something uncomfortable: emergencies. What if you collapse? What if you're rushed to the ER? If you can't speak, no one knows your meds, your allergies, or even your doctor's name. That's why you need a clarity kit. My friend George, 77, keeps his in a bright orange folder taped to the fridge. Inside, copies of his ID, insurance, med list, emergency contacts, and a note. If the cat hisses, give her tuna and keep moving. It's practical and a little personal. Doctors, paramedics, even your kids will thank you. It's not morbid, it's responsible. You're handing people the answers they need when you can't give them yourself. Remember those old commercials, "I've fallen and I can't get up"? They used to be a joke, not anymore. A one-touch emergency system isn't about weakness, it's about wisdom. My cousin, Patty, 75, fell in the shower and couldn't reach her phone. Hours went by. Now she wears a sleek smartwatch with fall detection. One button, and boom, her daughter and the local fire station get notified. Technology has caught up with style. You can choose smartwatches, voice assistants, even sensors that call automatically. The key: set it up before you need it. Independence doesn't mean being unreachable. It means being prepared. Your kitchen should help you, not fight you. That heavy skillet you can barely lift, donate it. That dull knife, replace it. My friend Clara, 73, downsized her kitchen into what she calls the easy chef zone. Microwave air fryer, one non-stick pan, and a stool by the counter, so she can sit while chopping. She even put motion lights under the cabinets, so she doesn't trip during late-night tea runs. Cooking alone isn't about showing off. It's about feeding yourself safely and joyfully. And please, buy the good olive oil. At this stage, life's too short for tasteless food. After 70, your body becomes unpredictable. Ignore it, and little problems turn into big ones. My friend Tom, a proud 78-year-old Marine vet, brushed off dizziness for months. He said it was just the heat. Turned out his medications were clashing dangerously. Living solo means you have to be your own watchdog. Pay attention to what feels off. Tell your doctor the embarrassing stuff. Don't downplay pain. You're not weak for admitting it, you're wise. Your body's carried you this far. The least you can do is listen when it asks for attention. When days blur together, rituals keep you grounded. My neighbor Linda, 80, begins each morning with a candle, a cup of tea, and writing one sentence in her journal. That's her anchor. Rituals aren't routines. They're little ceremonies that remind you life has rhythm and meaning. Pair that with a hobby that connects you without requiring company. My friend Harold, 82, took up online chess. Says it keeps his brain sharp and gives him a community of players across the world. Maybe for you, it's gardening, knitting, or tracing family history. The goal isn't just to fill time, it's to stay engaged, alive, and connected. Here's the hardest truth: asking for help early is strength, not weakness. The folks who thrive into their 80s and 90s aren't the ones who pretend to manage everything alone. They're the ones who call the neighbor's kid to change the smoke alarm battery instead of climbing a wobbly chair. They're the ones who admit to their doctor when they're feeling off. They're the ones who say, "I'd love some company today," before loneliness turns heavy. You don't lose independence by asking for help, you protect it. So here's my challenge. Pick one thing from this list today. Set up your Lifeline text, start your Joy Fund, or write down your meds. Living solo doesn't mean living small. It means designing a life that supports you, your safety, your joy, and your dignity. So, here we are. 10 simple but powerful ways to make solo living after 70 not just manageable, but meaningful. And let's be clear, this isn't about fear. It's about freedom. It's about building a life where you feel safe enough to laugh, bold enough to spend a little on joy, and wise enough to ask for help before the storm rolls in. Living alone doesn't mean being cut off. It means choosing your rhythm, your rituals, your ways of staying connected. If anything in this video sparked an idea, a small change you could make today, don't wait until someday. Start with one thing. Maybe set up that daily check-in. Maybe write down your meds. Or maybe, just maybe, buy that slice of cheesecake because you can. Remember, independence isn't about doing everything alone. It's about creating a life that supports you, honors your story, and lets you keep showing up with strength and a little sparkle. And hey, if you enjoyed this talk, hit that like button, share it with someone who could use a little encouragement, and subscribe so we can keep building this little corner of the internet together. Because living solo doesn't have to mean living lonely. It can mean living smart, living proud, and yes, living joyfully. Take care of yourself, my friend. You've earned every good day ahead.